All right, boat lovers, finally it is time to start fiberglassing. It's freezing cold, so I can't get much done today, but I am at least going to try and start on the aft cabin roof. So the first thing I'm going to do is set up a bit of a table here, like a cutting table, so I can cut my cloth out. And then I'm going to get up top and get this fiberglass started. Just been down to the suppliers to get a few odds and sods, like the ice cream containers for the resin, a new squeegee, and a couple of things like that. So, and a new box of gloves. So I'm pretty well good to go. Although it's freezing cold outside, it's actually not too bad in the shed, and I think we'll be fine with doing the glassing. So, all right, let's get to it. Hello boat lovers, welcome aboard. I'm Steve and I'm single-handedly building Dragonfly. She's a 53 foot or 16.2 metre flat bottom wooden riverboat. She includes twin outboards, aft cabin, galley, a saloon, wheelhouse, separate head and shower, and a centerline queen double up front. She's specifically designed for the sheltered and inland waters of the River Murray here in South Australia. Join us each week to watch the mayhem and madness of one man and his rescue dog building a massive 53 foot flat bottom wooden riverboat. All right, boat lovers, finally laying some fiberglass. It's interesting because this particular glass, it's a 200 GSM, that's 200 grams per square meter, and it's 1200 or just over 1200 wide, but the peel ply is only 1 meter wide. So I have to kind of lay the glass first and then put strips of peel ply over the top. Those of you who are not familiar with peel ply, it feels a little bit like sailcloth. And once you've laid your fiberglass and spread the resin on top, then you lie the peel ply on top and you just run your squeegee over that, gets everything nice and smooth. And the following day, or once the fiberglass is dry, you just tear the peel ply off. It literally just peels back and it leaves a beautifully smooth surface with no amine bloom or no wax on the surface. So basically just a really light sand. It's ready for painting. In fact, you can paint without sanding, but I like to give it a light sand first. If you don't use the peel ply and you get the waxy film on top, you have to scrub it with a scourer and warm soapy water before you do any sanding. Otherwise, the wax will completely fill up the sandpaper. And of course, you can't paint it until that wax is taken off the surface. So using the peel ply is a great way to go. Usually, I do like to wet the plywood out before I put the cloth on and then the resin. But in this case, it was just too tricky because of the width that I'm working on to be able to wet the timber out first. Otherwise, they're going to be kneeling on top of all wet epoxy. And with the 200 GSM cloth, it's no problem just to pour the resin on top and work it through with a squeegee, as I'm doing there. In fact, when I first learnt fiberglassing, that's how I was shown. And a lot of people since then, of course, same as me, do like to wet the timber out first, but you can't always do that. The main thing, as long as you get the resin worked through the glass so it becomes completely transparent and all you see underneath is the timber, then you've got a good soaking of the cloth and good adhesion to the timber. And this, despite being a really cold day, went on pretty well. On warmer days, it's great because the fiberglass resin becomes runnier and much easier to apply, and it goes through the cloth more quickly. But this worked pretty well, and I just, worked it all in and got it happening. One of the areas that I thought was going to be pretty easy but turned out to be quite challenging was wrapping the fiberglass around the edge of the cabin roof and tucking it under the beading that I have, or the drip rail that runs around the outside. So I actually did manage to do it, but it was a lot of fiddly work. So I actually wrapped the glass right around the beading and tucked it up underneath. I had to run my fingers along several times to sort of get all the bubbles out and get it nice and smooth. But I got quite a reasonable finish there. There'll be a little bit of sanding to do and a bit of cleanup, of course, because there's lots of little corners and things. But as far as starting this fiberglassing process, I have to say I'm really happy with what I've achieved so far. Yesterday and today are freezing cold, actually too cold for fiberglassing. So I think I'll be getting back into it tomorrow. And when I do, I'll be starting on the wheelhouse roof, get that all done, which shouldn't be too bad because I can access all sides of that. I can sort of reach over and access all sides, which is terrific. And then once that's dry, I'll be working on the galley and saloon roof, which again, I can sort of access from both sides. But I'll have to do one side first, let that dry off, and then I can do the other side because I'll be kneeling on the section that I've done to be able to reach that part of the roof. But that's going to be in the next few days, weather permitting. So far, with the fiberglassing, so far, so good. I know we've been waiting a long time, but it really feels like it's progress. And of course, after this glassing's done, and then it's a tidy up and a paint. And that is just going to be awesome. I'll be painting it with probably with a high build, a 2-pack high build first. And that way I can just sand any little lumps or bumps or make sure it's as good as I can get it. And I'm not sure if I'm going to spray or roll the top coats. I'm inclined to think that I might roll them, roll and tip with a brush because I can get it on fairly thick, and as I say, I'm not after a really mirror finish, but I'll cross that bridge when I come to it and make that decision. Let me know what your thoughts are, whether you think I should spray or roll. Spraying, of course, is much, much quicker, and I could get a great coverage, but I'm just not sure which way to go yet. The last boat that I built many years ago, that little river cruiser that you've probably seen in previous videos, I sprayed that and it came out really well, and it was quick and lasted, you know, it's still going after 20 years, although the new owners changed the colour, which I think the new colour they did was horrible, but nonetheless, not to my taste anyway. But it was a pretty straightforward process spraying that, so maybe I'll do that again. But as I say, just let me know your thoughts and I'll make a decision when I get there. Alrighty folks, back in the shed for a little while today. Freezing cold, too cold to do much work, but I've got my friend John coming tomorrow who's going to give me a hand doing some more glassing. And so before he arrives, I'm going to try and make up a dispenser for that fiberglass roll and the peel ply. So I'm just going to make up some sort of framework so we can easily roll this fiberglass and peel ply out for cutting. At the moment, it's a bit cumbersome rolling it out onto the bench, etc., especially with a full roll. So that's my plan, just try and make something up that will do that, and then I'll be ready for John when he comes tomorrow. All right, let's get into it. Alrighty, didn't bang my head this time, that's good. I think what I'm going to do is use some pipe to put through this roll of glass, and I'll just make up some sort of framework so I can attach it to the end of this bench here, and I'll be able to roll it out. I've got a couple of ideas, so I'll jump into it. Let's see how we go. Alrighty. So what I'm thinking is, if I can clamp these onto here, it should be strong enough, but we'll see. I've got some thicker pipe, large diameter pipe, but of course I've just cut those holes now, so I'll take that one up to the attic, the mezzanine, and see if I've got any more that size. Let's go for a wander. I never know what I've got lying up there. Lots of leftovers from when Amanda and I built the house. Incidentally, that house that you do see in the background, Amanda and I built that ourselves. Completely hands-on, no builders, just the two of us. So, all those people out there thinking we've got a fancy house in the background, well, it took a lot of fancy work, a lot of hard work. Here we go. I do not see another piece that diameter. Lots of other handy things up here though, but do I have any more pipe that size? Does not look like it. Nope. Now kiddies, don't try this at home. Going down the ladder with a GoPro and a piece of pipe under your arm. So far, so good. All right, grab my hole saws. We'll go and see what we can do. Right, I need to put some blocks on these to move these out a little bit further because that's going to be just a tiny bit too narrow, I think. Done. All right. Nearly. All right, let's get a couple of blocks to use as spacers. See what we can find out of my scrap pile here. Here we go. Perfect. As I say, I'm obviously doing this on the hop. Make it up as I go along. Go. All right. There we have it. A little bit makeshift, but I think that's going to do the trick. Ready for when John comes tomorrow. Hopefully he will admire my handiwork. All right, folks, I think that's it for this week's video on fiberglassing. We finally got there. We've made a start. So, as usual, I have to say thank you to everybody for watching, leaving all your wonderful comments, for following along. I'm sure lots of you thought we weren't actually ever going to get to fiberglassing, but it feels momentous that I have actually got to the stage where I'm putting the fiberglass on. So, as you've seen in this video, that aft cabin roof is done. And tomorrow when my friend comes over to give me a hand, we're going to start on the wheelhouse roof and probably the galley and the saloon roof. Obviously I'll try and film that so I can show you guys in the next video. But for this one, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe, hit the like button. Take care, look after yourselves, and Maple and I will see you guys back in here in about a week's time. See you, folks.